Cold piece of work. I'm your host, Murray Raybon. Let's get into it. So we got sophomore slumps coming up, maybe sophomore successes. Who knows? But let's talk about a couple of the sophomore quarterbacks that could have thumbs up or thumbs down seasons. What do you guys think? Let's get into it. Cool beans. So we're going to start with Jaden Daniels. Obviously, the most complete rookie of last year's QB class. It was heralded as two of the best picks of the century in the two can't miss picks of the century, with Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels coming out 1-2. Now, unfortunately for Caleb, he wound up in Chicago. Do I need to say more? It's Chicago. Like, it's the quarterback graveyard. Ooh, you're going to Chicago. That's how I feel. When quarterbacks go to Chicago, they go there to die, essentially. Not literally, but proverbially speaking. You guys get it. Hopefully you're educated. Anywho, so they go there to die. With Jaden having instant success with the right scenario, the right coach, the right team, the right build, the right offensive coordinator, there was a lot of things that had to go right to get the most out of that young man. But seize the opportunity, carpe diem, seize the day. That's exactly what he did. He went on to become the league rookie of the year and take the league by storm, honestly. No one anticipated Jaden Daniels having this amount of immense success this early. So I think Jaden is excluded from this conversation. So what we're going to focus on are Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, Drake May, and Captain Durag, Michael Penix. My favorite nickname in the NFL right now, Captain Durag. Shout out Bomani Jones. Okay, so let's look at the situations. Who has the best situation? Honestly, everybody but Caleb. Like, let's just be honest. New England's a better situation than Caleb. Denver's a better situation than Caleb. Hell, Atlanta's a better situation than Caleb. I feel as though in Chicago, there's so much unknown. You don't know about Ben Johnson. You don't know if he's an elevated coordinator who takes on the mask of this Mike McDaniel type thing. This guy who could have potential to be a coach, but really isn't a great leader. Let's just face it. That's what's the Mike Daniel will be relegated back to being an offensive coordinator by the end of this season, in my opinion. That's personally just what I think. Mike Mike McDaniel will. Is it Mike McDaniel? The coach of the damn Dolphins will be relegated back to being the offensive coordinator by the end of this year. Now, all those quarterbacks having a better situation than Caleb doesn't take away from the fact that Caleb is a physical talent. He just is. He was labeled as Pat Mahomes Jr., quote unquote, or Mahomes-like. And that's the thing that I hate about comparisons, is the fact that comparison is a thief of joy. I believe that wholeheartedly, which is why I focus on me and leave everybody else alone. Because if I'm growing at the rate that I'm supposed to be growing, then I'm doing my job and on my journey. But if I'm looking around at all the other people doing their thing and they're taking advantage of different opportunities that they may have, or they just may get lucky and be hooked up with some little bit of nepotism. Who knows? Nobody knows. But with that fact, the fact of the matter is, I'm taking away from my joy by comparing it to someone else's journey who I'm not on. I'm not on their journey with them. I'm not traveling down those roads. I'm not a part of those conversations. It takes away, and it literally belittles me back into a humbled position, unfortunately. So focus on yourself, guys. Anywho, with that scenario stated, you're looking at Bo Nix, Captain Durag, and obviously Drake May in better situations. Personally, I think Bo Nix is a 26-year-old rookie or second-year player. He's 26. Yes, he was in college for like 18 years. It's freaking nuts. I think my son was born the last time Bo Nix was in college. But anywho, Bo Nix has the best situation because talent-wise, he has the most around him. He has a best complete team around him. He has a potential number one defense around him. So his situation is going to elevate him even if his play isn't as substantial as it was last year. The second half of last year, Bo Nix really did turn it on, so to speak. But with that said, do defensive key in on some of his strengths more. They have 17 games of tape. Is it going to be the same? I feel as though Michael Penix out of those three is going to be in the best situation to succeed because there's not much tape on him. He played in the last 4 or 5 games. He has a full season to health, get better, get stronger, acclimate with his team, get his pace, get the offensive line to where he needs it to be. It's his team. And I feel as though that situation is a lot better. And he has weapons. Drake May. And most importantly, he's going to use Kyle Pitts because the first statement made by him was, I'll just let him say it. Go ahead. It was about Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts came out as this astonishing figure, drafted number 4 overall, I believe, but he was seldomly used. They didn't even throw the tight end. Kyle Pitts should be running seam routes all the time. Nobody throws him the ball. It's absurd. And I feel as though it's it's misappropriation of funds, if you ask me, just like a bank. You feel me? But with all of that said, Drake May is coming up third. I feel as though Drake May has the best potential out of all of them because physically he's the most talented, in my opinion. He's 6'4", 6'5", can throw the ball over the moon. He has great control of his game at this point. And I'm not saying that bleeds over to success, but I'm saying he's kind of figuring out who he is as a quarterback right now at this moment, which is a good thing. And it breeds self-confidence and it breeds maturation. I love that stuff. So, brings us back to Caleb. What's going on in Chicago? Out of those quarterbacks, I think who has the most potential to be successful, personally, I think it's Captain Durag, Michael Penix. That's just my personal opinion. We're coming up in a second would be Bo Nix because of stability in the situation. Third, we're looking at Dre May. And fourth, I don't know about Caleb. Caleb is an incomplete grade for me. Caleb going to Chicago was a head scratcher because there was hesitancy on his camp from not wanting to go to Chicago. Honestly, would you? Would you? If you knew a place was crappy, they served crappy food, but somebody in your family was like, hey, why don't you give them a try? No, John. Uncle John, I don't like them. Their chicken's stale. God, why did I just refer to it as chicken? That's cliche. Hello. Couldn't have picked another food, Murray. I'm sorry, guys. It is what it is. Little race joke. Ain't never hurt nobody. But anyways, Caleb in Chicago seemed last year like a dumpster fire. And he has success in spite of that. Because he's that physically talented. Unfortunately, what Caleb needed was teaching. And they didn't really give him that. Because this is the NFL and they're requiring you to be an adult, not paint your nails, not throw hissy fits whenever you get upset. This is the part of a maturation process. Caleb needs to grow up. That's a factual statement. Stop painting your nails. You're the face of a franchise. Stop doing this kid stuff. Stop being so sassy every time you don't get your way. You gotta man up, bro. Chicago may not be the best situation, but if you don't help it, it's not going to get better. But with Ben Johnson coming in, we still don't know. We still don't. Ben Johnson may be a great offensive coordinator, but he may be a shitty coach. We have no clue. And that's why I said he gets an incomplete. Because although he had a bit of success last year, I don't think he's reached the pinnacle of his abilities, but nor do I believe that he actually can be that good. I think Caleb is limited physically. He's small. He has great anticipatory skills. He throws with great anticipation. He's good at outside of the pocket. He's good at freelancing. But the things that he's not great is structure. Playing inside the box. Not having to do too much or not having to do enough. It just all depends. The question with Caleb is, can he mature and can he grow up? The question in Chicago is Ben Johnson a coach or just an offensive coordinator? And the question all of us have is, what's going on? Are these sophomore quarterbacks going to be successful or be in slumps? That's the question of the hour because, let's face it, folks, if you look at Indianapolis, the Anthony Richardson experiment is donezo. And if that's the case, and if that's the field that we're walking in, you have to wonder how these other quarterbacks are going to be reacting in their scenarios. I like Drake May's new acquisition of Jacoby Myers. I feel as though Drake May is going to have an immense amount of opportunity for success because he is a great head coach. Mike Vrabel is a solid head coach, dude. I didn't say he was Andy Reid or anything like that, but he's he's going to level set the room, cut all the BS out. He's a former New England disciple. It seems as though they like to hire within house. You know what I'm saying? They're taking the Chick-fil-A approach to their hiring process of their coaches. Like, it's just factual. You have to work there before they get the job there. It's just a fact. But with that said, they brought in Stephon Diggs, a true number one, a year off of ACL surgery. Hopefully his body's holding up and he's not doing the Cardi B things, 2CB. Just saying. Also, we're looking at The other scenario, they just traded for Jacoby Myers. That gives him a legitimate number 2. Now, with them sliding Kyle Williams, who I thought was a sleeper pick in this draft out of Washington State, he's going to be one of the best number 3 options. And I personally believe he's going to ball out because of the attention that Jacoby Myers and Stephon Diggs are going to be getting. So Drake May is going to have a potential to be one of the best quarterbacks in this draft class, in my opinion. He's going to put up monster numbers, and they're going to be able to take the leash off of him a bit. But with Caleb, I feel as though they're doing more managing than coaching, more handling than actual teaching. Is it because of the personality? Possibly. Is it because of the pain in the nails? I'm for sure. Because they deem that immature. I know that for a fact. We're talking about the Hollis family here, who've been owning the Bears since inception. They don't know anything else. The lady's 806, making calls from the team. You can play, son. That's how it is in Chicago. It's a bunch of question marks and old fingers just pointing at you. They need to get some new blood. Hopefully Ben Johnson can do it. Every year Ben Johnson's been a coordinator or a wide receiver coach, his slot receivers have gone over 1,000 yards. Look up the stat. I did too. It's crazy. Will Luther Burden have a big year? I hope so, because he's on one of my fantasy teams. Will Caleb have success? I don't know. It's a good question. I think his demonstrative nature on the practice field, especially while the cameras are there, whether that be an act or on purpose, is irrelevant. It's still shown, bro, you got to grow up, Chief. Grow up. Stop painting your nails. Stop complaining so much. Be a little bit more of an adult in the room. That would help. And I think that would ensure success. Because the rest of the guys are looking for you. And with this new coach, the other guys have just as much say as you do. You're not the number 1 pick anymore, buddy. It's not all shiny gold things. You've been there a year. People are known to your game, and they're up to your antics. So either you got to fix it, or they're going to wind up dealing you in a few years. One thing I do know, Ben Johnson got a longer rope than you. That sounded terrible. Damn. I was just, figuratively speaking, you guys catch my drift. That was not a shot. He said noose. Anywho, Ben Johnson got a longer leash to stay on that particular franchise than you. That's the question that we asked. Can he do it? I don't know. It remains to be seen. What y'all think? Cold piece of work. Deuce.